this exercise has 3 parts to it. We're going to retract, extend, and then wiggle. So we're going to retract, extend, and wiggle, go a little farther. Now there's a few common mistakes with this one. With the retract part, make sure that you're not going downwards, you're not going backwards, you're going straight back like your head's just trying to stay horizontal. Then when you extend back, you're going to release that chin tuck. And as you wiggle, you don't want to wiggle too big, just a small little wiggle and go a little farther as you do the stretch. Now you should feel a stretch one side or the other, down the middle, in between the shoulder blades. You might even feel it down the arm, some spot in the back of the body, upper extremity, back, shoulder blades, upper trap, neck, depending on what you have going on with the stretch and why this stretch was given. So while you do this stretch, you want to make sure you get to the point where you just start to feel it, and that's where you come out of it. You don't want to push too far into it unless you were instructed otherwise. Now while you do it, you need to watch out for green light, yellow light, and red light. Green light is as you go, the range of motion starts going further and further, or the pain gets less and less, or the pain is less and less after the stretch is done. Yellow light is there's no change as you're doing the reps. It may even be painful during the exercise, but as you do more reps, it doesn't get worse. That's a sign you can still keep going, kind of like a green light, but you want to just monitor and just be cautious with it. Make sure it doesn't turn to a red light. Now, red light is things are worse as you go, range of motion is decreasing, or pain is lingering or worse afterwards. Now, if you hit a red light, it's not the end of the world. It's actually maybe a sign of a good thing, maybe a progression or a modification is needed, but you have to make sure not to push through a red light. If you hit a red light, maybe just stop then. Maybe you can try again the next day or try again later. Just try it maybe a little bit lighter, see if it's still a red light. If it is, you stop. Make sure you don't do the stretch if it's a red light. You can make things worse if you push through a red light. The other thing you want to watch out for is a concept called centralization versus peripheralization. Centralization is if you're doing the stretch and the symptoms are either to the side of the spine, shoulder blade, upper trap, shoulder, or somewhere in the arm, and as you do more repetitions, the pain starts to change. Or you could have some resting pain, and as you do more repetitions, then the pain starts to move. So for example, you may have pain in the forearm or the fingertips, and as you do the repetitions, it keeps going and you start having pain in the shoulder instead of here. Now, if that is the case, then you have centralized the symptoms because it's moved more central towards the spine. You may do the reps, and on your first rep, you start to feel pain at the end range in the forearm. That's the starting point. As you do more reps, then you feel it in between the shoulder blades, or maybe in the shoulder blade there. That again would be centralization. Another side of centralization is feel it in the shoulder blade, and after a while, you feel it in this upper trap region up here. That is again centralization. And then from here, centralization would be closer to the spine. So maybe you have it in the spine and maybe it's just off to the side a little bit. One more step of centralization. The final step is getting it right to the center of the spine, and that is a fully centralized derangement there. So you want to get the symptoms closer to the spine. That's a green light. That's actually the number one thing that has been shown in the evidence that you're going in the right direction and that things will get better quickly. So if you can find that, keep going, gas on. Now, when you are getting symptoms that go further down, that's called peripheralization. It could start here, and then maybe you start getting into the fingertips. Now, if you get those symptoms moving down into the fingertips, peripheralization, that is a red light. You want to stop the exercise immediately. You want to monitor these symptoms every single time you do this exercise, because this exercise is very powerful in getting things better quickly, but is also just as powerful as making it worse.